Hi, the SI meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Friday, December 14th, almost at the midpoint of the month of December, and there will be quite a pattern change from the first half of the month to the second half of the month. Here in the eastern part of the country, we'll become much more active with multiple storms to deal with over the next several days, and there'll be multiple cold air outbreaks, one of which looks destined to reach the Mid-Atlantic region by late next week, right through next weekend into the first part of Christmas week. Probably still quite cold around the Mid-Atlantic region on Christmas Day itself. And it's quite an active pattern. We'll have a lot to talk about over the next few minutes. Here's the surface map, the way it should look later on today. High pressure continues to dominate here. Dry, chilly conditions. It's been rather quiet for the last several days. This dry pattern here in the east will come to an end later this weekend as a series of storms will influence our weather from late Saturday night right through the middle part of next week, and then another storm looks likely for the latter part of next week. So here is the storm system that dropped all the way southward from the Gulf of Alaska over a several-day period and headed into Southern California with some rainfall later yesterday, and it has now moved into the southwestern part of the country. This is the first storm in a series of storms that will affect the Mid-Atlantic region starting later this weekend. This will head to the northeast towards the eastern part of the Great Lakes, and from that position start to spread some rainfall into the Mid-Atlantic region late Saturday night. Now, it could be just cold enough well to the north and west of Philadelphia, well to the west of New York City, to get a little bit of light freezing rain or sleet at the onset of this precipitation event late Saturday night, but by Sunday it should be rain throughout the Mid-Atlantic region. Here's the current radar map for the nation as a whole. Still dry conditions here in the eastern third of the nation. A lot of precipitation associated with that first wave here that moved through Southern California into the southwestern part of the country. This will head towards the eastern part of the Great Lakes by Sunday into Monday, and from that position will spread some rain into the Mid-Atlantic region. Here's the latest infrared satellite loop. Lots of clear skies here in the eastern half of the country, and conditions were perfect last night for viewing the Geminid meteor shower, albeit on the cold side out there, but the conditions were perfect. Here's all the cloudiness associated with that southwestern low, a little swirl in the clouds here in southwestern Arizona. All of this will head north and east over the next 24 to 48 hours towards the eastern Great Lakes. Certainly this first wave is coming well to the north and west of the Mid-Atlantic coastal region, hence will stay relatively mild with mainly, if not completely, precipitation in the form of rain. Again, late Saturday night at the onset, there could be just enough cold air well to the north and west of Philly and well to the west of New York City for a little bit of light freezing rain or sleet. Places like upper Bucks and Montgomery County and Lehigh Valley over to the interior sections of northwestern New Jersey. Well, a very active pattern is about to set up here for the next week. Going into the following week, it involves several different storm systems and several different cold air outbreaks. Quite a difficult forecast because of all this transition and all the activity going on here. The next few maps I'll show come from the RaleighWeather.com website, and this is the from the last night's European Ensemble run. In fact, the next series of charts I'll show all come from the European Ensemble run from 0Z last night. I think that may have the best handle on the situation. A few days ago I mentioned that the models are going to have a difficult time during this active transition type period, and I believe the European ensembles may be handling the situation best, but there's still lots of questions coming down the road. First of all, this is the temperature anomaly chart from the European Ensemble run of last night for the next 5 days, days 1 through 5, and just to show the change in the pattern that's coming. Greens here represent above normal temperatures in terms of at 850 millibars, the lowest part of the atmosphere. Very cold out here over the along the west coast. In fact, even this morning it's in the 40s in the Los Angeles region. And they're going to have a cold pattern setting up along the west coast, just like the east coast, coming next week. But again, for the next 5 days, it's still relatively mild here in the eastern half of the nation. But here is what the change will involve. This is a change in the temperature pattern here in the mid-Atlantic region. And again, it still stays on the cold side here along the west coast. But notice from days 1 through 5 to days 6 to 10, quite a substantial change here in the mid-Atlantic region. And again, it looks like cold air outbreaks will become the rule here beginning late next week, right through next weekend into the early part of Christmas week. Right at this point, it looks like it'll stay cold on Christmas Day here in the northeastern part of the country. Well, in terms of storms, let's take a look here at a couple of maps from RaleighWeather.com. This is, again, from last night's European Ensemble run. We'll take a look at Sunday night, Monday night, and then Tuesday night, because there are, in fact, multiple storms to deal with. This is the storm location for Sunday evening. This is the same storm that right now is currently over the southwestern part of the country. It definitely moves well to the north and west of the Mid-Atlantic region, and from this position will stay on the mild side. Again, there can be a little bit of freezing rain or sleet in some of the suburbs well to the north and west of Philly and New York City late Saturday night, but for the most part, this Sunday event will be in the form of rain here in the Mid-Atlantic region as storm number 1 passes to our north and west. Well, here's storm number 2 as of Monday evening. Still on the mild side here, still primarily a rain event here. All the cold air at this point is still bottled up over the Great Lakes region and well back there into south central Canada. Again, this is storm number 2 come Monday evening. Now here's the European Ensemble forecast map for Tuesday evening. That storm moves from about this position to off the coast. It intensifies, drags in some colder air. Again, this event looks like mainly in the form of rain. However, enough cold air can move in to possibly change the rain to snow even along the I-95 corridor sometime late Tuesday night into the early part of Wednesday as the storm pulls out to the north and east and intensifies. It'll certainly develop some windy conditions here Tuesday night and Wednesday with some colder air moving in on the backside of this storm. Meanwhile, out over the northern plains, come Tuesday evening, there'll be another storm brewing. This storm will track to the east, and from this position here may send up a situation where it transfers energy to the coastal region, and that could form a storm along the coast late next week, perhaps the Friday time frame, and that will push in some much colder air by next weekend. That'll continue to be entrenched in the region in the early part of Christmas week. So quite a change coming. Some cold air outbreaks certainly by the end of next week into the following week, and several storms to deal with during the next week time frame. So we'll continue to monitor all of that here at the SIweather.com. That's it for now. I'm the SI meteorologist, Paul Dorian.